What's good with YouTube? Y'all already know Big Flacco with the Convicts Reaction, where I smash, dash, and react. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support this channel, and hit that bell notification for future fire content. As you can tell by the title and thumbnail, who does the #1 video in the prison genre belong to? Well, it actually belongs to none other than Boxer from Renegade Media News with the video that he did with Insider called How Do Prison Gangs Actually Work. Now, this video surpasses any other prison genre video that's on there, man. From Wes Watson to 23andMe to Texas Prison Stories, to all these guys that were pretty much pioneers in this stuff, right? Which they all have good content. Let's not get it twisted, right? But the #1 video belongs to none other than Boxer. Now, I've always said, right, that the West Coast raza genre for the prison genre, right, that it's kind of not always given its respect, because the individuals and caliber of individuals that you have there on these channels were really with the mix, really with the business, right, running yards, calling shots, and whatnot. That you have some people that are, Midwest, East Coast, right, that sometimes, their, level of involvement is sometimes minimal. And sometimes they're telling other stories, right? Because, man, let me ask you guys a question. How many videos can people do about motherfuckers getting their ass took in prison? Like, there's some people who they've done like about 20 different videos, and it kind of makes me wonder, where the fuck were they at? Because that shit doesn't really go down in some of the prisons in California, right? So a lot of people are either using recycled stuff or getting ideas from other videos that they see, or they were in some weird locations, right? And like I said, a lot of times the East Coast, right, they have a tendency not to want to deal with any of the raza groups in California that have podcasts, because they're scared of the repercussions because of, some of the people's choices that they've made on that side. Which I kind of find it kind of, interesting, because some of the stuff that, some of these, podcasters, that speak on, they're given the blueprints of their own functions. They're given the template. They're talking about things that in California, whether you're Norteño or Sureño, if you spoke on some of the things that these guys speak on, you would be deemed all bad. Some of them even make up the excuses, oh, because you're a dropout, or because you did this, you did that. It's like, on the magnitude of some of the functions that some of us lived, right, in prison, you can't even compare. And that's the unfortunate thing, that we're all seeking to do the same things on here, right? It's supposed to leave them old attitudes to the past and trying to show people a different way of living, right? But people who've never walked in certain people's shoes are real quick to try to judge others just based upon their decisions out here. It ain't easy being in California playing the politics, man. It ain't easy being a member of one of these organizations. So, with Boxer being the one on there to have the #1 video in all the prison genre, that says a lot, man. That just tells me, being part of the right platform that can push it out there to a different type of fan base, right? You're going to get the views. You're going to get the numbers. People are intrigued by that lifestyle, And it's unfortunate that, there's this, stigma that people from California that are part of these prison gangs that drop out, that people on the East Coast that have nothing to do with this, or Midwest, or wherever they're from, have difficulties doing any type of podcasts or videos. So my reaction to it is, it's about time that there's a little bit recognition. It's really difficult for anybody to get 100K that used to be part of that lifestyle. Some of us are barely reaching like 50K. Others are almost there. You have Renegade Media. He's around the corner about to hit 100K. And I think he's the first really prison genre within the raza genre, talking about Norteños, Sureños, that has over 100K. So much respect to him, man, for reaching that 100K, man. Hopefully a few of us are going to be able to follow that path, right? But Boxer, man, like I said, he has a #1 video, and you have to respect that. And it just goes to show that maybe we need to push a different type of lane to get those numbers. I brought in some key interviews. I brought in Dreamer, right? Escamilla. His stories told on Gangland and some of the other stuff, right? I brought in all kinds of different people that you'd be surprised that would be hard to find. I brought in people like Stranger from Florencia in his case, right? You know what I'm saying? Cody Taylor, Monster, his case, which is all over the news. And you would think with the level of interviews and people that we bring on here that sometimes we would get a little bit more views. You know, people are sleeping on the West Coast, man, and the stuff that we bring is some of the interviews that we've done. Maybe it's a drama that, tends to happen from time to time on YouTube, which is probably affecting us a little bit, right? But, Boxer proved with that video that, yeah, there is potential for us to get higher views, and people are interested to hear what former prison gang members have to say. You get some individuals that, are big in the rap game that get views, or just individuals that, live the somewhat lifestyle, right? But you got those that live that lifestyle in California, right? On the highest level, you would think that we would have bigger views. Some of us that were deeply involved in the mix. Some of us that have stories that, that are like no others that you're going to hear anywhere else. And this isn't a rant or anybody complaining. I'm just talking about that this is my reaction to it, that there's something that we're not doing that's limiting the amount of views that potentially we could have. Because I do think that there's a bigger, fan base, right? Bigger subscriber base that would be interested in some of the stories that we do. Maybe YouTube is not pushing the algorithm enough. I don't know. So congratulations to Boxer from Renegade Media News for having the #1 video. Well deserved. But I'm hoping, man, that we can all find, different lanes, different ways to push the algorithm, and different ways to get more support, because I think some of us, man, are just as worthy as any other content creator in the stuff that we push, on a daily basis, that we have to push twice as hard sometimes to get the views that they get on the East Coast, right? And let's just keep it real. Some of those people that are from the East Coast, yeah, they have stories. They're good. The one that I think that pretty much sets the bar high is Chad Marks. You know what I'm saying? But some of the other channels, right? Stories that they tell, man, it's no different than what you're going to hear on the West Coast, right? Except for the West Coast, a lot of these individuals were more deeply involved in the politics, the prison gangs, all the criminal activities out there in the streets. And therefore, you wonder why we're not getting as many views as sometimes some of these cats out there on the East Coast. It's kind of something that I still haven't been able to understand. And I'm not saying that we deserve to have more views, but at least equal or close. Some of the stuff that some of these other content creators have brought, I think that, man, we deserve to be right up there with any one of them. When it comes to people like Dubs, Renegade Media News, myself, Homie Hangout, Prisoners Awakening, all these channels, right? We've all been pushing for a long time, man, and it just seems that, some of us are barely, reaching 50,000. But Boxer's video proves that there's a bigger platform for the content that we do bring, man. And it is the #1 video in the prison genre. That can't be disputed. That's a big accomplishment. I believe also Texas Prison Story should be having more views, man. He's been doing it for a long time, and he has some fire content, Chad Marks, he's being given the respect that he deserves. But like I said, there's a lot of other content creators, man, like, it shows that we're not getting the views or subscribers that I feel that is deserved by the work that's put in and the content that's being produced. That's just my opinion, and that's just my reaction to it, man. With that said, Big Flacco from Comics Reaction, we're going to keep on pushing.